Hi everyone, so I'm going to be running through your computing lesson and I'll be teaching you computing over the next few weeks and I'm quite excited because we're learning a new way of computing. We're not going to be continuing with to code. Instead, we're going to be learning a new program and how to use it, and that is called ToLogo. So I'm going to share my screen with you and you will be able to watch along with me, and then we'll be able to you'll be able to go off and do your coding yourself. So we're going to be starting with ToLogo today. So the first lesson today is just getting familiar with ToLogo. What does it look like? What does it do? We're going to be typing in some simple commands and going through, I guess, the program, and then you can go off and create some codes in ToLogo. So ToLogo is a little bit different compared to ToCode. In ToCode, what we were doing a lot was just dragging instructions and putting them in order to make an action happen. In ToLogo, what we're going to be doing is you'll be typing out the codes and giving very specific instructions to make that program work. So you're going to have to actually learn the language and be able to type out instructions. So let's get straight into it. So before we get onto the program, we're going to have a look at what is a language of coding. So in the coding, I need to type out instructions for the object on the screen to do something. I need them to give them a very clear set of instructions. Now, I could type out a very long sentence like robot walk forwards 6 steps, but that's quite hard. Instead, what we tend to use in coding is very short letters, okay? And I use those as like a command, a short letter sequence to make a code. So I've got some letter combinations on the board in front of you. Can you figure out what each of those means? You can pause the video before I go through the answers and try to figure out FD. What word might FD stand for? Think about what kind of thing you want your robot in ToLogo to do. What might FD stand for? So let's have a quick look. FD stands for forwards. So if I was to type in FD 6, I would be typing in forwards 6, and when I hit enter, my character is going to know it needs to go forward 6 steps. Can you figure out what BK stands for? It stands for backwards. What about RT? You can pause the video now if you want a little bit more time to think about it. What might RT stand for? And a little hint, you've got RT and LT. RT. You've got an R and an L. What might they stand for? So RT stands for right turn, and you can probably figure out that LT therefore stands for left turn. And the last coding language that we need to know today is RPT. RPT, what might that stand for? Repeater. Repeater? Doesn't quite sound like it. If you need more time, you're welcome to pause the video, but if you're ready, RPT stands for repeat. So we're going to be using these letters combinations to make a sequence today and make our character do something. So I'm going to head on over to Purple Mash for you to follow along. You can always pause the video at any moment if you would like a little bit more time to do a certain step. So I'm on Purple Mash. I've got my login details. If you've lost your login details for Purple Mash, if you can't remember them, please get in contact with your teacher via Seesaw, and they should be able to help you. If they don't know, I actually have all students' logins, so you can always send me an email at this email address right here, and I can get those details for you. All right, but for now, I'm going to log in, okay? When I get onto the Purple Mash website, I'm going to come all the way down here to the coding, and I'm going to click on coding. And I'm going to scroll down just a little bit until I see logo here. All right. So once you've hit logo, it's going to take you into all the apps to do with logo. And now I'm going to ToLogo, and I'm going to open that. So pause the video now and open up ToLogo yourself. Okay, now that you've opened up ToLogo, we're going to do a few steps. I'm going to first come up here on the top right where it says slow on one side and fast on the other. That will be telling me how quickly my character moves. But to help us today, we're going to slow that all the way down. I want you to put that all the way back to slow. I would also like you to come up to this grid with this red line through it, okay? And we're going to click on that, and you can see that the grid appears on the screen. This grid is going to be really important for us today when we're giving correct commands, okay? So, as I was explaining before, I want to be typing in a command into ToLogo using the forwards, backwards, left turn and right turn. So you can see those commands here on your left in case you forget them. And we type our code down here into the bottom. So if I wanted my character here, my little arrow, if I wanted him to move, I could type in FD, and then I want to hit the space button. There has to be a space button or it's not going to work. And if I wanted him to move forward 5 steps, I would type in FD space 5, and I would hit the enter button and he will move. And you can see him crawling up the screen there. There he goes. If I now want him to turn, let's say I want him to turn to the right, I put in RT space. Now, with my right turns and my left turns, I turn by the number of degrees. So we should know what a quarter turn is, what a half turn is, and what a full turn is. If I wanted him to turn all the way around in a circle, I would type in 360 degrees. Okay. If I wanted him to turn halfway around, I would type in 180. And if I wanted him to turn around a quarter, I would do 90 degrees. Let me just go back to our coding language here, and I'm going to write those things in for you in case you want to use them. So if I want a whole turn, I'm going to type in 360. If I want a half turn, I'm going to type in 180. And if I want a quarter turn, I'm going to type in 90. Okay, so just in case you've forgotten, I will leave those there and you can pause the screen and come back to them. So going back to Logo, if I want him to turn 1/4 and I want him to turn to the right, I'm going to type in RT space 90 and I'm going to hit enter, and there he turns around. Now, if I was going to draw maybe any pattern I like, I could maybe now go, I would like him to go forward space 8. Now, forwards is not going to be up, it's the way that the arrow is pointing. So I know forwards is now going to go across the screen. Let me go forward 8. And maybe I want him to turn around 180 degrees. I want him to go all the way back. Let me type in right turn 180. Let's see. Oh, all the way back he goes. I might do forward 12. And he runs all the way across. He follows the point of the arrow. Oh, I've made a T. Well done me. I might say I would like him to turn right turn, which means he's going to turn and face upwards, 90. And now I want him to go backwards. So I'm going to type in BK. Let's do 7 steps. And I press enter. So just remember to always leave a space between the letters and the numbers. Can you please pause the video now and have a play around on ToLogo? Okay guys, welcome back. Now that you've had a chance to play around on ToLogo and you've had a bit of fun or getting comfortable with the letters and the numbers, I'm going to reset my page because I don't want that anymore. So I'm going to come up to the blue arrows here that are in a circle, and I'm going to just click on that, and it's going to get rid of my code and it's going to put the arrow back in the middle of the page for me. So what we're going to be doing now is trying to actually make a pattern. Okay, where we've got a set of instructions that makes a particular shape. So when we're using our codes, instead of just typing in one code at a time, we can actually type in a sequence. For example, this one says forward 1, right turn 90, forward 1, left turn 90. And then that same pattern repeats 3 times. So to help me figure it out, before I type it in and just see the answer, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to draw it in this space here. For you, you can draw this straight into your book. and see if you can figure out the pattern, and then we'll check if we're right. So I've got forward 1. Well, I know the arrow goes up first, so I know forward 1 is going to go up like that, and I'm going to tick it off so I know I've done it. Then it says right turn 90. That means it's going to turn this way. It's going to turn to the right, and it's going to turn a quarter way. So I'm going to tick that off. Now it says forward 1. Well, I know I'm facing to the right, so it's going to go forward 1 like that. I'll tick that off. And then it says left turn 90. Well, if forwards is facing this way, I'm going to turn my hands like this because I'm facing that way. And I think, which way is my left? Well, my left is this hand, so it's actually going to go up. All right? So now that's my first sequence. Now I'm going to come down to the next line. It says forward 1. So I'm going to go forwards 1, tick it off. Now I'm facing up, so I point the way I'm facing, get my fingers out to figure out. Now it says right turn 90. Well, that's my right hand. So I know that it's now going to face this way. So I'm going to tick off my right turn 90. I've done that. And it says forward 1. So I'm going to go forwards. Fantastic. Now again, the next one says left turn 90, so I'm going to point the way that the arrow is pointing, put my hands up to figure out which is my left or right hand, and it says left, which is this hand, so I know it's going to go up. So I'm going to draw, just to help remember, I'm going to draw a little arrow so I go up. And I'll tick it off. And my last one, oh, I'm starting to see a pattern, up, across, oh, maybe I figured out what it is. It says forward 1, so I'm going to have to draw forwards going up. Oh, I've gone off the page there, that's absolutely fine. Then it says right turn, so I know it's going to come across to the right again, so I'm going to tick off right turn 90, and it says forwards 1. Across I go, forwards 1. And last but not least, it says it left turns 90, so I'm going to use my fingers. My current shape line is facing that way. Put up my L's so I can see which way is left. It's that way, so I need to remember that my arrow is going to turn up. Perfect. So I think that this code is going to go up, across, up, across, up, across. Now that I think I know what it is, I'm going to actually type in that code. All right. So let me put my code side by side. You don't need to do this. You can freeze the screen. Let me put that there. I'm going to copy that code into ToLogo. So down here, I need to copy it exactly. I can't just copy most of it. I need to copy it exactly. So it says FD space 1 space RT space 90 space FD space 1 space LT space 90. All right, I'm going to see if I was right. If my first code was right, it should go up and across. Let's see if I was right. It's going up. It's going across. Oh, and it turned. Fantastic. I'm going to retype that code. So I'm coming down here. I'm going to left click on it. See if I can. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to click on it and the same code appears. And I'm going to press enter again and wait for that one. And then I'm going to click on my code again and hit enter. And now I can see the pattern goes up, across, and it faces up. And it looks exactly like the pattern that I made over on the right here. Great job. So your task now is to have a go at the second one. Can you figure out what FD5 RT90 would be? Draw it in your book. Repeat all of the steps. What shape did you get? Once you've done that, you can come over to ToLogo and you can, first you're going to need to reset your code, and you're going to type in this new sequence FD5 RT90 into the box and see what code you got. Once you've had a go at all of those, so I'm going to ask you just to pause the video now and have a go at writing out each of those codes and seeing what you get. When you're ready to continue, you can come back and unpause the video. Okay guys, now that you've had a go at playing around with ToLogo by yourselves, I'd like you to come up here and hit the refresh screen. Okay, these circles, it will put your arrow back in the middle and get rid of all your other code. So hopefully, if you managed to correctly code them all right, the first code would have been a staircase, the second code would have been a square, the third code would have been the letter S, and the last code would have been a triangle. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at playing with all of those. So what we'd like you to do, just to finish off now, is you can actually code all of those shapes onto the same set of codes. So you might click and drag your arrow over here, and you might decide to make another triangle. So I'm just going to type in the triangle code, forward 8, right turn 120, forward 8, right turn 120, forward 8, right turn 120, and I'm going to hit enter. And I'm just going to watch him create a new triangle. And then I'm going to click and grab him, and I'm going to move him over another place, and I'm going to do a triangle again and hit enter. And you can start to see that I'm actually making a pattern of repeating triangles. It starts to look really cool. So have a bit of fun, play around, make as many different patterns as you like, take a screenshot, put them up on Seesaw so that we can see all the wonderful patterns that you've made. Just remember, if you have put in your right turn 120, but you've not put a space in the middle, it won't work. It'll tell you you need a space between those numbers. So you can click on the code, add in the space, and it'll work. Okay, so when I next move it up here, then it didn't quite work the right way. So now when I do my next triangle, it won't look the same because I didn't code it correctly the one before. It's going to go this way. Please bear in mind your arrow might run off the page. So you have to be really careful with your code, because if he disappears off the page and you can't see him when he stops, you're going to have to reset your whole code and try again, all right? So just bear that in mind, otherwise you're going to have a really bit of a sad time, okay? But hope you've had fun learning that. Please continue to play around. And of course, post up your screenshots onto Seesaw, because we would love to see them. It would be fantastic to see all your amazing codes. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you next week when we go into more patterns that look absolutely incredible on Logo. Have a lovely day. See you later.